Hello, and welcome to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. This video is intended primarily for young mothers who have junior boys at home. Others can listen to it, I'm sure, but I think young mothers will get much more out of this. We all know that boys and girls are different, young boys and girls especially. Girls are much more refined, they're more mature, they're disciplined, they're sweeter. Boys, on the other hand, can be a handful. And they can be rebellious, and they can be adventurous. They like to go out and adventure, do this and do that. They can easily try the patience of a mother and even try your mother's love. At times, you may wonder if they're normal at all, or if there's something wrong with them. You might wonder if you're doing something wrong in raising them, or if they will grow up to be normal. Well, let me set your heart at ease. I'm here to tell you that they probably will turn out normal. I was a junior boy, and I drove my mother crazy. Every gray hair in her head, it was because of me. I'm not proud of that. I'm just being factual. But I turned out okay. I was a career Coast Guard officer. I'm a Baptist preacher. I'm a best-selling Christian author. I'm a family man, been married to the same woman for 57 years. I have children. I have grandchildren. I have great-grandchildren, and just a great family. But I was no angel. And I'd like to share a couple of stories with you that might set your heart at ease about how your junior boy acts. I'll pick out one year in my life, 1959. I was 9 years old. We were living in San Francisco on the Naval Shipyard. My dad was in the Navy. He was a submariner. And one day, my friends and I were out playing, as we did on the base. We'd go fishing or we'd play at the junkyard where the ships dumped all their stuff and look through what they were dumping. And one day, we found a treasure box that the ships threw out. It wasn't really treasure, but when we opened it, it was full of flares and flare guns. It didn't take us long to figure out how to work them, and we were shooting flares all over the bay, and there was red smoke coming out. And it didn't take long after that till we were surrounded by the naval base police. Boy, did I get in trouble. Even my dad got in trouble, which made my trouble even double. Well, fast forward a few months, my dad's boat got shipped down to Vallejo, and he had to move down there, and so did we. So we're in Vallejo, California. And one day I said to my friends, you know what, let's skip school and go look for snakes and lizards over in Napa Valley, which was across the valley, about 5 miles. They thought it was a good idea. And the idea was we'd get up, pretend we were going to school, put our books in the bushes, then head across, and we'd get back before school let out so it would look like we'd been at school all day. Great idea, great plan, and we started to go. The next morning, it worked out, and we were going across the valley. We didn't realize that there were a bunch of canals called sloughs that we had to get across. We had to climb over fences and down trees, and it took us 2 hours to get over to Napa. But when we did, we had a great time. We saw this rodeo kind of setup of some sort. There were bulls everywhere. We teased them and got in a little bit of trouble. And then we moved on. We found an abandoned house. We were running all through that. And then we found some grass that was floating on top of water somehow. We just had a ball on that. And finally, we ran into our first snake, and I grabbed him. And he grabbed me back. And he drew a lot of blood. And it was okay. I let him go. And my friend said, what if it was venomous? And I said, yeah, what if it was? So we decided we better head back and find my parents. Well, we got about 100 yards down the mountain, and we just forgot completely about it and started playing again. Well, before we knew it, it was starting to get dark. We knew we'd overstayed our welcome. We knew we were in trouble. So we headed across the valley as fast as we could. It was pitch black when we got back on the other side. We came up over the hill, and there was we thought a carnival going on or something. There was a lake there, and there were hundreds of people around the lake. There was a big fire truck with a ladder extended, and there were police cars with their lights flashing. There were people out on boats with lights, and I didn't know what was going on. So we ran over to the crowd, and I saw a kid from my neighborhood. I tapped him on the shoulder and said, Billy, what's going on? Billy turned around and looked at me as if he'd seen a ghost. He said, Gary, they're dragging this lake for your body. You didn't come home from school, and they know you play here. They thought you fell in and drowned. He said, man, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. Well, I found out I didn't want to be in my shoes either, because I got a licking. My mom and dad passed me back and forth to give me a licking. But what I want you to draw out of the story is not that. Don't give your kids a licking. But understand, you don't need to be so worried if your boys act foolish like that, or if they act and do stupid things. They're normal, and they're going to turn out normal. Just love them and try to understand them. I hope this video helped you. I hope to see you next time, my next video. Just subscribe and you won't miss it. Thanks again. Have a good day.